5 seconds. Start. Sir, I stand here to deliberate on the supplementary demands for grants 2015-16 which have been put forth by the Honorable Finance Minister for the consideration of this House. I would initially mention here that when most of us who usually go abroad, we try to buy something for our children back home, like some trinkets, some watches, some dress, or some shoes, or something that we bring back so that our family members are happy that we have remembered them when we were abroad. But most of us are having a different type of experience nowadays, that whichever shop we enter into, either in Europe or in the USA, most of the items that we think worthy of being carried back home are all made in China. Even in the Indian market, when we travel to some other cities, when we go for shopping, the item that is provided or that is available in the shops is also made in China. China's products are flooding the market today. Yet we know that the China's economy is coming down. Invariably, today, as it is reported in recent times, the growth rate is hardly 7%. That is the lowest rate since 2009. This slowdown is also ominous for those countries, including India. These countries have been selling raw materials to China. It seems China today has a huge stockpiles of steel and other raw materials in the backyard. I am saying this because India is today facing export slowdown. Export fell by 20% in May 2015. Other emerging markets and countries in Asia are also facing similar export slowdowns. In case of India, the fall of petroleum prices has led to lower dollar export earnings of refined petroleum products that India specializes in. There has been a rise in youth unemployment, and various other budgetary cuts have led to reduced disposable income. Yet, I would say that there is a fall in gold price and also home prices, which can be termed as good news. The Minister of State for Finance is a good friend of ours. He always indicates as to what is the effect of the market that is there. It is a good news for our economy. It should be. We are traditionally habituated to physical assets. The concern here is the habit has not changed despite economic development. Financial savings are therefore far lower than they should be. Despite RBI's invention and repo rate reduction, why are not banks cutting loan rates? Why are the banks unwilling to cut their loan rates? Is it because of their high NPAs? The gross NPA of Indian banks are risen to 4.5% of the total advances in September from 4.1% in March. Today, public sector banks are in deep trouble. NPAs are cutting into profits, and even leading to losses. This is alarming, but we all know that bringing greater social security and shifting savings from physical assets to financial ones are two key household themes which union government should strive to achieve. But there is a need to constantly be on vigil to see whether the policy determined here in Delhi gets reflected in the countryside. Sir, my party believes that federalism is the basic structure of our constitution. A significant aspect of federalism is distribution of revenue between the union and the states. Under Article 270, all tax collected by the Government of India are required to be distributed between the union and the states. Under Article 275, the Union gives grants to states, and under Article 252, the Union may make any grant for any purpose. Sir, when this government has curtailed central assistance, how can one say that more money is actually flowing to states? The government has accepted the recommendations of the 14th Finance Commission, that is increase in the devolution of central taxes from 32 to 42%. We welcome this. However, the union government has delinked 8 schemes from central support. The sharing pattern of 33 centrally sponsored schemes also has been reduced. There were certain centrally sponsored schemes which had 70% central funding, and this had been cut down to 50%. So there also state governments have to put in more funds. The loss on account of reduction in central assistance in the case of Odisha would be rupees 8,000 crore. This is not going to be set off by the 10% increase in devolution, which would work out to about rupees 6,000 crore. Thus, Odisha has to bear an additional liability of approximately rupees 2,000 crore for 2015 and 16 only. There is also a delinking of area development programs, backward region grant fund, integrated action plan for left-wing extremism affected districts from central assistance, which is seriously affecting the development programs undertaken in states. Apart from this, a number of other states also which suffer from such activities are being affected. I do not know what type of assistance is being given to them.